but they're selling this as such a special opportunity to see a special event that they're trying to milk American soccer fans and visitors for everything they possibly can.
Morning Kickaround's World Cup coverage is brought to you by Oakland County Football Club. The club is celebrating 10 years of bleeding purple in Southeast Michigan in 2026. Tickets on sale now. Visit Oakland County FC online for schedule, tickets, giveaways, and more. Thank you, Oakland County FC. All right, there was a cacophony of news from host cities of World Cup games across the country over the last few days. But the one that really got the attention worldwide even is the back and forth in public between the New York, New Jersey Planning Committee and FIFA itself. And this largely stems from the transportation restrictions and gouging from New Jersey.
Yeah, it started with, up in Boston, the MTA is going to charge $80 or whatever it was to get from Boston to Foxborough. That's a 45-minute drive, obviously a bit of a train ride. That was like, oh my God, they're gouging. And now we have New Jersey entering the situation. And here is their statement, which, or this is a response from FIFA that I pulled up from an Athletic piece from late last week, because some of you may have seen this. So Mickey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey, has spoken out about why they're charging so much for these tickets from New York to New Jersey to get there for the World Cup games. And she's saying FIFA has mandated certain requirements of transportation, but that's a cost to the system, and we don't want the taxpayer of New Jersey to have to pay for it. So we're passing it on to the people who are going to be traveling to visit our cities and visit our stadium and travel via our transit system. So in response to those comments, FIFA spokesperson told The Athletic, "We are quite surprised by the New Jersey governor's approach today on fan transportation. The original FIFA World Cup 2026 host city agreement signed in 2018 required free transportation for all fans to all matches. Recognizing the financial strain that's placed on the host cities, back in 2023, FIFA adjusted the host agreement requirements across all host cities as follows. All match ticket holders and accredited individuals shall be able to access transport, public or additionally planned transport, at cost to allow travel to stadiums on match day." Now, obviously, $150, which is the new price to get from New York to New Jersey for these games, is not at cost. Moreover, FIFA has worked for years with host cities on their transportation and mobility plans, including advocating for millions of dollars in federal funding to support host cities for transportation. FIFA's like, you have to do this. We're not going to give you the money. Go ask your government for it. Right? I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, commit. And of course, what FIFA always says is, oh, but you're going to get all this economic benefit, Rob. It's going to be a massive economic benefit to you, right?
We were talking last week about what is the drinking game for stadium expansions and teams across the United States. We got to have a whole new one for the World Cup planning. Economic impact is definitely a buzzword on the bingo card. It's like, it's unmeasurable. It's like there's going to be people around, so surely they'll be spending money. So that's going to have an impact. But the direct thing is a ticket that costs, was it $12 usually to go from New York to the stadium, $150. That's definitely not at cost.
No, it is absolutely not. And again, I sympathize with the elected officials of New Jersey. I sympathize with them because they are in a difficult spot. If the federal government is not going to make up the shortfall, the amount of money it costs to run the extra trains, because I remember that's what this is, right? It's not just the normal train system and we're jacking up the price. It's we have to run extra trains to get people out to the games the way that FIFA has asked us to do. And I suppose you could go back in time and say, well, don't sign the host city agreement. Don't accept games. Right? Chicago
Those probably aren't the same officials from 2018 as now.
Exactly. We live in a representative democracy. Mickey Sherrill wasn't the governor at the time, right? The guy who owned the soccer team, can't remember his name. He was the governor at the time. He wasn't my governor, so that's why I forget his name. But, there were other people involved in signing those agreements. And these officials are looking at the numbers and going, these numbers don't work for us. Now, again, I understand that it feels as though the burden is being put on the fan after all this stuff, right? FIFA's jacking up prices. And again, Johnny Infantino, like in the last couple days, again, defending the ticket price scheme from FIFA because it's a special event because of all that. Like, what we talked about over the last couple of weeks. I had an interview with a guy who does ticketing, who works with teams on ticketing on the radio last week. And he thinks this is ridiculous and that ultimately FIFA is going to see that this is not the way to go, but they're selling this as such a special opportunity to see a special event that they're trying to milk American soccer fans and visitors for everything they possibly can. And again, some of the details in those stories, Rob, the New Jersey pushed back on this. And that comes just ahead, or that all came just ahead of news stories out that say Philadelphia isn't moving a price. They're actually going to stick with their $2.90 to ride SEPTA. Now, I think it's always a what's point A and what's point B situation. But I saw that my friend Jonathan Tenenwald at the Philadelphia Inquirer has just dropped a story on this that I intend to read as soon as we're done. So go read Jonathan. I'm sure he's got a lot of information on, how Philly is doing this when New Jersey and Boston can't seem to match them.
I didn't see if they were charging or not, but Kansas City dropped. They've got musical events going on. The Chainsmokers and all various sort of big pop acts are going to be happening at there. So there's definitely no minimizing or modesty being laid upon their plans in Kansas City. But our friend who's given us a lot of updates on the World Cup stuff, a travel football fan, he laid out the bullet points for what's going on in New York, New Jersey, and basically the forced scarcity of the tickets. But staying on topic with the New York, New Jersey thing is, the parking lot's closed. They're gouging for tickets. They're blocking out regular commuters that aren't going there for 4-hour windows on game days. They're not allowing people to walk up from various different areas. So like people are being forced into these kind of gouging situations. So there's kind of a few different kind of bad actors all happening against and with each other in a way, but all against the general fan and consumer, right? And the offsite parking that is available there's only enough spots for half the capacity of the stadium. And apparently that the walking path between those parking and the stadium is very narrow walkways and isn't very commuter or pedestrian friendly. So like it almost seems like they're forcing attendees into having an uncomfortable experience altogether. You're talking about, the world is coming. They're going to have a great time, a party in the United States. But I mean, all these experiences are going to like undermine and degrade the overall experience. Like if you park a mile and a half away, have to walk in the baking hot sun, shoulder to shoulder with 40,000 other people, and then other people are paying $150 for a 15-minute train ride. Like that all degrades like the wonder and the splendor and the fun in general to attending any of these.
So the Philadelphia thing, just to kind of bookend this, because I see our guy for travel football fan is in the chat this morning. Shout out. Philadelphia announced that fans won't have to pay public transit to ride after the game. So you have to pay the nominal, the normal fee, the normal ticket price or whatever it is, fare to get to the stadium. But once you leave the stadium, those trains will be free after that. I mean, and Matt's saying nobody wants to ride SEPTA. I'll leave your anti-SEPTA conversation to you, Matt, and everybody else out there. Look, it's obviously that, what's frustrating about this, I think, is that it's the piecemeal scattershot approach, right? It's free here, but it's $150 there, $80 here. And I mean, this just goes to show you just how incoherent FIFA's plans around all this have been, right? There's a whole city agreement. I've said they amended it, but, again, all of the burden is on the individual host cities. Now, again, you could say maybe they shouldn't have signed it, but the World Cup is coming. Everybody wants the World Cup. Everybody wants to be able to celebrate that. This is what FIFA knows they can do. They have the leverage, right? They have the advantage here because they know their product is in demand, even in the United States, where we're not necessarily a fully fleshed out soccer culture. We still have millions upon millions of soccer fans and millions of people who want to go to these games. And FIFA's like, hey, we can get away with this, right? We can make you pay to secure the stadiums for us. We can make you pay to run trains just for us. We can make you pay to shut down an entire station just for us. And we can demand that you do fan fests and all these things and not put any money of their own into it. Oh, you'll get the economic benefit. Just wait, right? That snake oil element of it is just extremely frustrating.
Yeah, clip that, why don't you, Jenny? But that was a great synopsis of just really, the brass tacks of what's being asked for. And it's kind of wild that like this time last year, a lot of people around soccer were like, next year is going to be a boon. Everything's going to accelerate because World Cup. And then now that we're here, it's like, let's see, because World Cup, we'll see what happens.